Hello everyone, it's been a few days and I guess I wanted to do an update and talk about people who kill, parents who kill. There was a case of a father recently somewhere in Europe, I can't remember which European country, I know it was in Britain, but he had a child with severe special needs, 6-year-old son. And this is from the first and only report I read about it. But from what I got from that first report, the son had epileptic fits, he was violent at times, and he couldn't talk. And yeah, the man was pushing him along, and he told the police. Someone came across him, found him on the floor, on the ground, by a lake or a river, or something like that. And the pram, which had the child in it, buggy, some people call it, stroller, but we call it a pram here in South Africa. So the pram that had his 6-year-old child in it was tipped over and the child was gone. And this man was groggy and, it was just coming out. He'd been unconscious, knocked unconscious by the people or person who had stolen, kidnapped his son. His son was found in the river. And so his narrative, the dad's narrative, was someone came, attacked me, hit me on the head, I fell unconscious, and they took my child and they killed him. But when the police were now investigating, and they of course looked on his laptop, they found that he had searched something along the lines of what are the signs of being unconscious. So basically he wanted to know how to prove he's been unconscious so that he can pretend he was unconscious. And they saw that there was a bottle there where he had been found by this passerby, a broken bottle. But cameras showed that he had taken this bottle of alcohol in the bottom of the pram, and it was the one that was now shattered. So it seems that he either hit himself on the head with it and then simulated being unconscious after reading about how to be unconscious, how to look unconscious, or look how you were unconscious, or it was just a huge coincidence that he looked up what it's like to be unconscious, and a huge coincidence that someone came, took the bottle that he had and hit him on the head with it, and then took his child and pushed the child into the river. I've seen it. There have been cases where schizophrenic people they walk, like there was the one in the museum in France where a school trip was out, little kids, and some person who had a mental disorder picked one of the children up and threw him from the top of the balcony and down onto the floor of the museum, and that child has now irreversible brain damage. So it is possible, that some weirdo came and did that. But his search history, and I'm sure there are other things as well, they make dad look like he's guilty. At the same time, people are saying, or was it his lawyer? But if he was guilty, if he had planned to kill his child, why then had he just recently bought some state-of-the-art expensive tool to help his child with the therapy? Because he has special needs. And I thought, well, that's easy. I buy my children things all the time to help with their special needs. Not, of course, like whatever he bought, but for my budget, it is a lot. But it doesn't mean that I won't snap the next day and feel that it is too much. Today, Sabbath, is one of those days. There have been many, sadly, because things are getting worse. So today was one of those days where I just felt like I would snap. But I've never, ever felt like I want to therefore kill my child. That's the difference. And I today am praying that no other parent ever reaches that point. Isaiah 58 verse 13, and why I mentioned the Sabbath is because from what we've always been told, Sabbath is restful. Your body gets to rest on Sabbath, and you sit and worship God amongst his believers, and it's all good and happy for you. Though I have a problem when I would get to church and people would say happy Sabbath, I would not be thinking, I don't want it to be happy. I want it to be blessed. I want it to be filled with something that will change me, transform me, make me uncomfortable, show me my sins. Isaiah 58 verse 1b begins with, cry aloud, spare not, be as loud as you can. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. Yet they seek me daily, and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness, and forsook not the ordinance of their God. So they're pretending that they never forsook me. That's what God is saying. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching to God. Wherefore have we fasted, say they, and thou seest not? So Israel was pretending. Israel was a hypocrite. So God was saying, Isaiah, lift up your voice and shout. Tell them, you are sinning. When you've been told you are sinning, the natural response is not to be happy. And so when you go to church, the whole point is to say, guys, let's look at Christ. Also not to say, guys, let's say, church, let's look at Christ. Look at our example. How can we meet that standard that he has set for our righteousness? That's what we should be going there for, right? So it's not necessarily going to be happy. I mean, it's easy if they're talking about things I've already transformed in my life or allowed God to transform in my life, then I will be happy and say, amen. Oh, that's so true. Or generally I think, oh, thank you for the reminder. Thank you for validating my choices. It's never happy. It's sobering, it's reverent, it's edifying, it's blessed or blessing, or it's terrible. Not a blessing, not reverent, not holy, and doesn't seek me to seek God, and doesn't teach me to seek God. So those are my Sabbaths. So that's why nobody has ever heard me say, happy Sabbath. I don't want you to be happy. I want you to be holy. I want you to be blessed. That was an aside. So going back to this, we think the Sabbath is about resting the mind, resting the body. And for special needs parents, that especially of a certain severity, that is impossible. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it's all the same when it comes to the strain that is in your head. So today I was thinking, oh my word, how will I escape? And that's the thing. I didn't say, how will I get rid of them? It was, how will I escape? My angel is heavy for me, really heavy. And she's still in diapers. Oh no, I need to change her diaper. How will I escape? What am I going to do next week? What am I going to do next year? How am I going to survive changing her diaper when I'm when I'm suffering so much already? How am I going to do this year after year? Will she ever be potty trainable or not? But today is Sabbath. I should be resting. I'm not resting. I'm breaking my back. I'm hurting myself to change a diaper. Then my son out there is also screaming and crying over something inconsequential. It's not like he had stubbed his toe. Or his finger. I don't know, I'm putting my finger. It's not like he stubbed his toe and he does that. He will, you might pat him and he will scream as if you've stabbed him. It wasn't even that. It was just something really petty. And he was basically throwing a very loud tantrum, really. And you're thinking, someone who's turning 9 in September, we should have passed that stage already. When you're a mother and you have your brand new baby, you know that you assume they will grow and mature and change. At some point, they will get out their diapers, so that cost will be gone. At some point, you will rest more on the Sabbath, and I've discussed this part, so I'm not going to go back onto it. But today, it was heavy. My back has been worse, and I'll go back to that. So, verse 13 and 14. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. That's the shift we parents whose lives are not changing have to take. It's not about we are going to rest on Sabbath. It's how will I honor God this Sabbath? How will I make sure that the Sabbath is about God and not about my own pleasure? So yes, Sabbath is a day of rest from general work, but it isn't a day of rest from your responsibility to God. And therefore, as a parent, it means it's not a day of rest from our responsibility as parents, God's creation. And so when that child is heavy on your back and you need to change a diaper, you're serving God. At the time when one is screaming and you still go out and say, what's wrong? And you keep calm, you're serving God. You're teaching your child what the Lord of the Sabbath is, and you're treating your child the way you would treat God. What did God say? Whatever you do to the least of these, you're doing it to me. So I'm really urging us parents, please, let us view every single day, obviously, as a day of service to God. But especially the Sabbath, it is a day of service to God. Not doing our own things, not finding our own pleasure. It's not about us being happy. It's about doing good on the Sabbath and coming close to God. With that, I come to my update. I'm sort of back now online. My daughter, remember in my other video I said, what if it's Munchausen? And I mentioned Munchausen and then Munchausen by proxy, because my fear was, I'm the one who's taking her there. She's not going to take herself to the doctor. And what if one day these people think I am the one who is saying, hey, pretend you're sick? It's my greatest fear. I hate being lied about, because when you're lied about, it already puts you on the back foot. Whatever truth you tell, even if it is the truth, if someone doesn't want to believe you, they'll just say, she's just defending herself. That is what I don't want. And really, overall, all those symptoms seem to be Munchausen, and created by a very, not even tortured mind, by a very busy mind. There are some sad issues, we will do therapy. But at the end of the day, there was definitely nothing physically wrong. And it just left me feeling tired. The headaches disappeared. As soon as we walked into the hospital doors, the rest of those days that we spent in hospital, there was never any headache. There was no I see the devil. And I thought, great. I've just wasted my time. I'm killing my back for nothing. Why am I here? But at the same time, we know we dare not ignore our children, because then too, we will get into trouble. How could you leave your child to suffer like this? What kind of a mother are you? We are damned if we do, damned if we don't. And so I chose to go ahead and do what I need to do. I wanted to make sure that at the end of the day, I don't want to answer God and say, I messed up. I want to be careful. I want to be careful with my children, with my own salvation. I know God will never blame us for being too good, but He will blame us for ignoring the good completely and doing the opposite. So we have therapy coming up. We have counseling coming up. We have assessment reports that will be read from the educational psychologist. So right now, psychiatrist is handling things. It was bad. It was really bad. My back has not yet recovered. And at the end of the day, it's for what? But it's good that there's no organic sickness. That is the thing. It is good, but I did, as you know from that last video, I did have my doubts. And here they are. Here we are. So, friends, it's Sabbath. Let us take delight in honoring God. The Sabbath is about honoring God. May we seek His will. May we do His will. May we treat the least of these, His children, in the right way. And He will cause us to ride upon high places. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day. Please be faithful. Stick to it. If you are ever drawn to ever feeling murderous, tell someone, at the very, very least. Because here's the thing. Someone was saying, well, why didn't he just put his child in foster care? Why did he have to kill? truth is, I know foster care. If two people I know personally, neurotypical people, could be harmed and abused, how much more a child who is challenging? So I too wouldn't want my child to suffer in foster care. Death, well, then they're dead. It's better for the child, but it's not better for your own salvation. And I don't know that he will ever be at peace. I really don't. Can you be at peace after murdering your child? A child you obviously loved because he was trying to help him. Unless, of course, he was trying to help him so they can make him normal. I don't know. But let us love. Love everyone, no matter what kind of person they are, how they behave. The vulnerable are the ones who need our protection the most. Please, dear mother, because mothers have done this too, where they've murdered their children. Even now, recently, their special needs children. Please rather put them in foster care. Scream for help. Go to a psychiatrist and tell them, I can't do this. You need to help me. Find a way to keep my child safe while also keeping me safe from losing it. You know, psychosis can be brought on by a huge amount of stress, and living this life endlessly with no help, it can do that to you. So if you feel that you're at breaking point, please reach out for help. Unfortunately, God doesn't come down and say, okay, I will give you a break. I'll put your child in respite care with me. That would be the best, because then you'd know your child is definitely safe in God's care. But he doesn't do that. So find his people here on earth to watch your child, to care for your child, and rest. Rest in his arms. Please don't harm your children. And I say this as someone who, as I said, I've just broken my back changing a diaper. I've just dealt with a child who basically left me with egg on my face after multiple expensive tests, who is also an inveterate liar, and a child who's shouting and yelling and screaming over nothing when all I want to do is to rest. The psychiatrist we met this week, she asked, who's helping you? Do you have any family to help you? Because this is too much. They all say that it is too much. But friends, if I can handle so many children with special needs that are so different and be sick, God can help you handle anything. Please don't resort to killing. My final plea is, remember the Sabbath and remember all the commandments. Thou shalt not kill. You were singing it. What did you sing?
Happy birthday.
Oh, wonderful. Wanna sing it again?
Yes.
Okay, go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, wow. So happy.